Do you want your voice and opinions to be heard? Have you ever thought about creating your very own podcast?
Well, we have the perfect app for you. Anchor is the best way to record, edit, and distribute your own podcast. It's easy to use and it's all free.
They have creation tools that will help you to edit your podcast, as well as free transition sounds and intro and outro music to make your podcast run smoothly.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many more. And you can also make money from your podcast too.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. You can access it on your computer or even on your phone. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm. That's ANCHOR.FM to get started.
Welcome back to the Babbling with Besties podcast. I'm your host, Akasa.
And I'm Melli.
And we have a special collaboration today. We got the controversial black girl in the building.
Hi. How y'all doing?
We're good. Tired.
Right.
We're good.
No, I feel that.
So yeah, we're gonna be talking about some really good things today. But first, how was y'all's weekend?
I'll go first. I had a really, really good weekend. It was just really, really busy. It was busy, like lots of entertaining. So it ended up kind of like you know how you enjoy entertaining, but it's like Sunday night when it's like you gotta go to work, you be like, damn,
It's a mood kill.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to think. Like I think Friday I got my hair braided. Saturday I had it was a very small pool party with social distancing. May I add, please? And then on Sunday I did like a fashion show event. So I just was very, very busy this weekend. How about y'all?
Well, I don't even remember what I did on Saturday. But yesterday was my nephew's. I didn't have anything. I just was there. But my sister-in-law had threw like a small barbecue for him, and trying to breathe in those face masks was ridiculous. So hot. It was like at least like 95 degrees up here in Jersey. So, and then today was even hotter. So it's just been chaotic. But that's pretty much it. I don't think I did anything on Saturday besides finish up school, work, and stuff, which now I'm finally done, thank God, until another month. What about you, Akasa? What you
Nothing really, as always. I never do anything on the weekend. Just chill with my son, and that's about it.
So today's topics are about friendship, like toxic friendships, and what makes a good friendship. Is that? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Okay. But okay, so today's topics are about friendship, like toxic friendships, and what makes a good friendship. Is that? Did I say that right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to start off with the feedback that you got?
Sure.
And we could off of that.
Yeah. So I actually kind of placed it like an open discussion question on my actual podcast page or Facebook page, which is the Controversial Black Girl Podcast. And I asked my listeners, what's a toxic friend? And some of the things that I got back was one person said that it was somebody that turned every situation to something that was about them. Another person said that someone that was just always negative. Somebody else said that someone about making sure that, or excuse me, they said that somebody else gossiping about someone else,
Mm-hmm.
always gossiping about someone else. That was one of the things. Let's see what else is on here.
I see somebody says lying and the inability to compromise, which I like that, and that can actually be applied to relationships as well.
I think so too. I think that for me personally, I just think that where I'm at in this phase of my life is, I know that a lot of people can relate to this. We're busy. We are wives, we are mothers, we are working women. So you really don't have a lot of time for the excess or things that don't really matter. So even to be
Right.
able to find time for your friends outside of just your everyday life is hard. So you really, like I said, you just really don't have time for the extra. And then it really kind of puts into perspective, as far as for what a real friend is, or what a friendship looks like when you don't have a lot of time to deal with a friend.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And seeing like how they respond. Because one thing I have to say about like Akasa, because we've been friends for a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
but I was the one to have a child, and that never hurt our relationship. It was not like, oh well, now I gotta stop talking to you because you can't go out partying with me or something like
Mhm.
that.
Right.
It was more like, I'm gonna still come over and spend time with you, and you can still come over and spend time with me. And the same thing that happened with when she had her son, and even when I got married, she used to come over all the time, and just like we were the three of us, me, my husband, well, he was my boyfriend at the time, but me, my husband, and her, we would just like watch movies all night and just talk and eat and like just chill together. It was never like, oh, she's too good now that she has a man, which I appreciate. But some people are like that. They're like, oh well, you can't give me 100% of you anymore, so it's an issue.
Right.
One, and I think that, as far as for what it seems like, as far as for you all's relationship or friendship is that you haven't been able to evolve and to grow, and you guys
Mm-hmm.
have kind of grown together. And I feel like that's very vital to be able to grow sometimes. And for certain people, sometimes you just outgrow that relationship. And this is something also that I just posted not too long ago. A lot of times we think that this has to, whenever you fall out with somebody, or whenever someone's energy doesn't align with what your energy, we think that it has to be this big dramatic fallout, blowout, knockout, drag out. And that's not necessarily the case. If someone's energy doesn't align with yours, then you can simply just end that relationship. It doesn't have to be a traumatic departure. And so I think that's one of the biggest things too, is, sometimes, I don't know if you ever been around somebody to where it's like they're always moping and complaining, and then you start to find yourself, you moping and complaining
Mhm.
too.
Cause you feel it. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's very vital to make sure that you surround yourself with good positive energy, because that's going to be the energy that fuels you.
Right.
Absolutely. And that I think about that, it reminds me of like the well-being of your mental health,
For sure.
because like if you're around people that are like exactly what you said, like moping around and just complaining and their life is the worst thing ever, and now that's phasing onto you, you're just gonna, it's just like a black cloud over your
It's
head.
like draining your energy.
And
Exactly.
you don't know why you're walking around, you so tired, you irritable, you don't have any energy, and it's because this person done sucked the life out of you.
Mhm.
Mm,
That sucks because
yes.
I had a friend like that. Melly knows who she is, but
she would call me and complain about every little thing that was going on. And it got to the point where she used me, even, or tried to use me even after we were like not even friends. Like, to a point, she stopped at my house one day without me knowing, and like my family called me like, "Hey, such and such is here." I'm like, "Who?" Like, because it was like years since we talked, but she came over, and like she was trying to seem like she was trying to reconcile the relationship, but then after she left, my cousin had told me she was asking about a room in the house I live in to rent it out, and I'm like, oh, that like that's why she came over. But even when we were friends, it was like draining just to be around her, because it was her constantly complaining about things and just not being the best friend that she could be.
Yeah.
But she was never a good friend.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. I have to tell you,
but that's a good point too. I mean, how many of us have grown up and you've heard one of your, whether it be your mother tell you, your auntie tell you, your grandmama tell you, somebody tell you that that girl is not your friend. And even in that situation, a lot of times we still try to see the good in people when you probably should have ended that relationship a long time ago, but you're still holding on to that relationship because you're still trying to see the good in that person.
Right.
And that, like I said, that still once again just kind of lines up with the energies aren't there. Sometimes, your season, people are placed in your life sometimes for seasons. And we sometimes will try to hold on to a person for a longer time than, their intended season.
Yeah.
So I know for me, that's something that I've had to learn. I've had somebody, as a matter of fact, that I have, I'd known for, kind of childhood friend, and it was just kind of like, we started to attempt to try to do business together, to make a business venture, and in doing this business venture, it really shed a light on the fact that we were really oil and water when it came to our relationship. And this is somebody I had been friends with for at least about 10 years. And so it was just kind of like, you sometimes we let history kind of take place over what we feel as far as for our intuition. And for me, in this particular situation, I know that's one of the things I was like, I've been friends, our parents are friends, I tried to hold on and try to salvage this relationship, but where my life is forcing me to, where the universe is forcing me to kind of go, then we couldn't coexist in this relationship again. So I had to terminate that friendship. I don't wish any ill will or anything towards that person, but like I said, if it's over, it's over. It is what it is, and you move forward. And for me, I know for me right now, I'm more focused on boss friends. That's where my focus on right now. I'm over here trying to get a bag. I'm over here trying to, take my podcast to the next level, and take my business to the next level. So I'm more interested in boss friends than, meaningless friendships.
Right. I agree. I 100% agree. That I forget. So you said something, and it kind of like triggered the story that we did tell on the podcast already about it was about a friendship that Akasa had, and she. Yeah. I'm sorry, Akasa. I'm just kind of like not throwing you in the butt, because I mean, this just, to me, it just shows me what kind of person you are, because you're very forgiving and you give people chances. Too many, but you chances.
No, but we're talking about the same person, though. I understand. But the thing for me is,
mind you, this is years ago, when we were like about to graduate from high school, and so to make a long story short, we went down to the shore for prom weekend, and I was pregnant, so I didn't go out or drink or anything. It was like in the beginning, like you couldn't tell, nobody knew, but I just stayed in a hotel with my boyfriend at the time, and she went out with this girl and this other friend to a suite where there was only a bunch of guys. And then, like when you're young and doing stuff, like you're drinking and having fun, like literally drunk, like passed out drunk, and they left her in a room. The two girls left her by herself in a room full of guys.
Oh no.
And this is the same friend that trying to swindle her way into her house for a room. That's why I'm like, you gotta cut these people off. I mean, I know that you're a good person. You try to look at the good in people, but sometimes you just have to say, because sometimes they kindness and they try to keep, try to weasel their way and see how far they can take it with you, and you just cannot do that. The more
So
you allow them.
do you think sometimes people probably take advantage of her, or maybe just kind of take her kindness for weakness, that type of deal?
Yes, both. And like
Okay.
I give everybody a fair chance. I do.
Okay.
But I usually can sense, like, just like how you were saying, like our moms and our aunts and stuff, they can kind of sense like this person's not a good person. It's kind of been like, in every single time so far, I've been right.
It's,
I'm
you
not
know what
always
I
right.
think it is? It's that protective nature. Like, of course, like
Yeah.
whoever you are, like me, I love this person because she's my best friend. So that's
Right.
the protective nature. Like, I don't want nothing to happen to you. Point.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know. Like, as far as me and like people, like different people, I do give people chances because I try to see, like, you're going through something or whatever, but I kind of look at like the deeper issue of why you're actually going through it instead of like, you just brushing it off.
You are supposed to be a friend.
But I've learned because it has bit me in the ass a couple of times just trying to care for people and be like, hey, you'll get through this or whatever. And it's just always came back to bite me. So I've learned my lesson as far as, giving people chance after chance after chance and just putting
Yeah.
myself first. But like, as far as just being that friend, I don't want my friends to not be able to confide in me or be able to, like, say how they really feel or be honest with me about certain things, because it's like, what are we even friends for if I can't even be honest with you, if I can't come to you woman to woman or man, whoever you friends with, if I can't come to you and be like, this is exactly what happened, no matter how embarrassing it is, no matter how
Right.
much I like just embarrass myself, like, I should be able to still talk to you about it. And yeah, we're gonna joke about it, but we're also gonna, like, get it out so a better outcome can come the next time.
And it's actually it's funny that you say that, because once again, referring back to this, this relationship that I had to terminate, or that we terminated. I don't want to say I, like it was just me, but we mutually decided to terminate. As far as for my ex friend, I found myself, it had gotten so bad. It got to the point to where I felt like I couldn't be honest, and I felt like I was walking on eggshells to not hurt her feelings. And it was, to me, that was very, very suffocating. And so I'm just, right now I'm reading a blog right now, and it says 6 signs of healthy friendships. And the very first thing it says, you're real and honest with each other. And I think that's such a big, big deal, especially, like I said, when you consider age as a factor, age before, or before history, because like I said, things can change if your energies aren't aligned, no matter how long you've been friends with someone. But the number one thing is just that you're real and that you're honest with each other, and that you have tact when you're trying to, I guess, explain a concern with your friend, because it's not that you're trying to hurt a person by having to tell them something negative, but that's just the realness of the situation. Is that at some point you may have to have an uncomfortable conversation with somebody. And for me, I would want my friend to be honest enough with me to be able to have those uncomfortable conversations. I'd rather for us be able to go ahead and to just chop it up, and then, if we sometimes you agree to disagree, I'm okay with that as well. But I would prefer that you be
Right.
honest. We can't get anywhere if we're not going to be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel the exact same way. There's some people that I kind of have to. I felt I don't at this point in my life I don't do it anymore. But at one point I just bit my tongue and just it made me feel like on the inside it really tore me up because I don't like to hold things in, and that's what I used to do all the time. When I was younger, I used to just hold my emotions in, and if I felt like it was gonna hurt that person's feelings, I just wouldn't say anything. And in the long run, it hurt me, and it hurt me emotionally too. So I try to be as transparent as I can be. And the only person that I honestly felt that I can just say whatever and it didn't matter and I didn't feel as though she was gonna judge me or anything was always Akasa. It's truly amazing because I never encountered a friendship like that where I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Me and her have fell out before,
Yeah.
but it
which
was
is
like
which is part of it. Anytime you're in a relationship with anybody, if you argue with your spouse, of course you're going to argue with your friend. But I think the biggest part of it is just to make sure that you're arguing in a healthy way. You're arguing in a way that is not, I would guess say, you know planting painful seeds that are hard to kind of come back from, because we you're gonna argue with somebody. You go if you know we That's a part of human nature. It just has to be,
right.
I guess, a healthy argument.
Yes, I agree because we've stopped talking for a couple months at one point, and it was like I missed her, but I was like, being stubborn, and then eventually
I
I was
was
like,
like, why the fuck
I
is
need.
this bitch not texting me? What the fuck is wrong with her? I was so like, and me and her already had a conversation about it, but I was pissed because I was just like, why? I didn't do anything.
But you know what? I think it was because Akasa used to live up here for all of her life.
Mm-hmm.
So she moved down south. What was it, like 4 or 5 years ago now?
Almost 6.
So, and now I start seeing her like before when she first moved down there. It was like she would just talk to me all the time because I lived in a different area that we grew up in. So I'm out here by myself. She's down there by herself. So we had like still each other over the phone, but
Mm-hmm.
like I started seeing her go out and have friends and oh, this is my sis, and I'm like, I felt kind of like betrayed, like I'm being replaced, if that makes sense. Like now I'm
Funny you
over.
say that. Funny you say that, because I was actually about to ask you all is, how do you all act when you have other friends? Because that was another thing, an issue that I had with, once again, this person that I have been friends with for 10 years and was getting ready to partner on this business venture with. She really felt some type of way about me having other friends. And in order for us to be able to make our business successful and to grow, I have to connect with other people. Does that mean connect as far as for being on the same level as what me and my friend are? No, not necessarily. But networking is part of making your business grow.
Right.
And that's what for me, I have a marketing background. So that's, for me, that's something that I'm very good at that. I'm going to toot my horn on that. I'm very good about, if you put me in an event with people, I'm going to walk out, I'm going to make friends. I'm never in a room with strangers. That's just me.
Right. Right. That's how it should be. But I just felt like it was like more on like a personal
I
level.
got you.
Yes, I don't know, but I also have battled with anxiety and depression and stuff. Like I still do. That's a whole nother podcast when we talk about mental illness. But
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like all of that was going into play because at that point it was like really bad, and I don't even think I was diagnosed yet. It was like crazy. So I just felt like I had like nobody, and like she just moved on with her life after
Mm-hmm.
everything we've been through. So like I just kind of like just cut her off completely and just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
But I shut down on everybody, even my husband. Like shut down and went into like this deep depression. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to do anything. Like I went to work, but that's about it. Like I really didn't have a desire to do it. And she would keep reaching out, and then after a while, like I'm just playing bye. But it took a lot out of me to be able to admit that to her, like talk to her and tell her that. Well, it took months.
But with that
So
being your friend, do you think that she was supposed to know you so well that she's just supposed to know? Or was it your responsibility to just kind of say, hey, this is what I'm going through? Like,
it's 100% my responsibility. hundred
I
percent
got
my.
you.
She doesn't, and then too, like she doesn't know. She doesn't know what's going on in my head. And plus, when she left from up here, I didn't have those issues.
I got you.
So now I'm going through something new. I don't know how to handle it. I'm going through I was going through stuff in my personal life with my husband and stuff. And then it was like that. It was like I was just going crazy, and I was just like, you know what? Who cares? And everybody can just go. That's and now now that I'm learning how to cope and all this other stuff, and I'm trying different methods. Like I can successfully say like we had a conversation, we got through it. She understands me a little bit better, and I understand her a little bit better. Like I don't want you to think that you can't have no friends, but
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
same time, I need you to know that they ain't me.
Right. That you're irreplaceable. I get it. I get it. And for me, like I said, for me personally, like I said, I personally in my situation, I felt as if every other relationship that I had outside of our friendship was a threat to my friendship. And I'm like, it's a very weird, uncomfortable space to be in.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, we know that the goal is for us to be able to, to grow. And people that know me, I try to be a friendly person anyway. Does that mean that I let everybody get close to me? No, not necessarily. Um, but it was just a very weird space to be in because she was threatened by literally every single relationship that I started, and I was kind of like, well, you got like we in a relationship now. We in a relationship.
Right.
We're just friends. Like I'm like, so yeah, it just got to me. It just got really like kind of like uncomfortable, and that's why I was like, I got to take a step back. This is not working for me. This is not good for my mental health. Like I'm
Right.
going to sleep with with this. So this is definitely not good. Now, have y'all been keeping up with did y'all watch this past season of Insecure at
Oh
all?
my God. Finally.
Because that's what I was thinking about. So
Finally
are
someone
you
watches Insecure.
are you team Issa or team Molly? I have to be honest with y'all. Like I didn't watch the last 2 episodes, but I feel like I watched enough episodes for me to gain an opinion.
Hold
But
on. Now, Melly, if she's watching Insecure, now you have to watch it so you can catch up, so you know what we're talking about.
yeah, I mean, a lot of people like really pretty much had their sides between, Issa and Molly. Like it was very, very split.
So, okay, so just to touch on Insecure, Insecure, like Molly and Issa, I think they were both wrong because of the lack of communication.
I do too.
They had no communication at all. Even like that first lunch that they had, it was like they talked, but it was like casual conversation, but they knew it was a problem. And every time they had a chance to talk, it was like, okay, they're doing something else. And then was like, no, go back and talk to this girl. And I was so happy. Did you watch the ending?
I did not watch the ending. I do have to I've been so busy, but like I think I need to watch like 2 more episodes. I think that's what I like is like 2 more episodes. But from what I saw, I totally agree with you because here's the thing. So at the end of the day, what we keep saying about friendship, it's a
Right.
relationship. Relationships are what work. So
Yep.
that's the thing. So it's like I agree with you. I felt like both parties were wrong in this particular situation because it's like there was lack of communication on both ends. And I could literally see things from both perspectives. So I could see that I could see how let's just use Molly. I could see how Molly is probably tired of being captain, save a friend, save a hoe for
Right.
Issa. She literally bails Issa out of everything. But then I could see how, like, for Issa, it's kind of like, she's there for Molly, but there's a part to where Issa just needed Molly to do this one thing, and at the end of the day, I'm this type of person. Like, if I deal with you, I deal with you, like whether we're on good or bad terms. I would not come through for you because I'm mad at you. Because at the end of the day, if you're friends, if you're really true friends, that means you have love for that person. So I still want to see you win, even if I'm upset with you. But there were some opportunities as to where Molly could have helped her, and she didn't. And I just felt like that part was wrong.
Right.
I felt like it was just
But
wrong.
okay, so just just to explain like the show, because Melanie doesn't watch the show. Insecure is about, it's mainly about Issa Rae. I forgot her last name on the show, but it's mainly about Issa Rae. This last season was really good because it really tested Molly and Issa. Molly and Issa are best friends. Both of them have stuff going on in their lives that is separate from like their relationship. Like Issa was going through it with Lawrence, and then Nathan. That was her like two boos or whatever. Or well, she was in a relationship with Lawrence, but she was messing around with Nathan. Nathan ghosted her and then came back. Like, it was just a mess. Molly had Asian Bay. I gotta show you a picture of him because he is fine. No, he is fine. But
let me just mind my business.
Oh, sorry, JB.
If you're listening, babe, don't.
Like, no, just skip over that part. But yeah, so Molly was going through it with her boyfriend at the time, and they wound up breaking up. So it's a lot as far as like, just like I said before, it was the lack of communication. Because at one point, Issa, I think in the first episode, was having like a little mixer, and Molly wanted to talk to her. And there was a few times Molly really wanted to just sit down and like have a conversation with her because she was going through stuff. So imagine like, Melly, if like me and you got together, but like I was doing things like trying to be like productive or whatever, but then like you really needed to talk to me, but it's not like I intentionally brushed you off, but it happened because it happened unintentionally, basically. So that happened, and then the using part was like, yes, Molly does bail Issa out a lot, but then it was a point where Issa had another event, and her Molly's boo works for like some entertainment company. So she actually asked Molly like, hey, can you hook me up, basically, because you're my friend or whatever. And Molly was like, no, because I don't want that type of relationship. I don't want you to just like think my boyfriend is out here for favors. That's where she was coming from. So what happened was Issa had talked to Nathan, which is Asian based friend, and I cannot remember this man's name for the life of me on the show.
Is it Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's Andrew, right?
Andrew. So
okay.
Right? But Nathan and Andrew are friends. So Issa is friends with Nathan, so they were talking. Nathan wound up asking Andrew for the favor instead of going through Molly or whatever. So when Molly found out, because you know they were casually talking at the event, Molly found out, she went off on Issa. She was like, "Why the hell would you, you know, ask my boyfriend? I told you not to." And she was like, "I didn't. Nathan asked her." So it was just like so much, because honestly, that little argument only reason that argument really happened is because they've been having this divide between their friendship. Because if there was no divide, Molly would have helped her out, because Molly always helps her out. But like, again, with the using part, it's kind of like Molly helps you out enough where it's to the point where you are kind of using her. So it was a lot, but yeah, I love Insecure. That's my favorite show.
I'm just gonna say that he looks good.
It's so cute. I'm about to take a picture right now.
No, I like it. I just be like, maybe I'm the only person that feel like this. I feel like by the time I get comfortable in my chair, the episode is over.
Yeah, it does, and people been saying that. People been saying
like
it needs to be an
I
hour.
need for HBO to do better. Like I feel like I'm not paying for 15 minutes a show. I need you to give me the whole 30. That's what I'm saying. Give me the whole 30. I don't feel like y'all give me the whole 30. Y'all give me 15 minutes.
That's how good of a show it is, because it's like, as soon as the show starts, it's like, okay, I gotta sit down and watch this. But then you get so hooked and into it, the storyline and everything, and the music is phenomenal. I've gotten so much music off of Insecure, it's not even funny. Like my whole, like I have about 100 songs over like 4 seasons. But anyway, but yeah, it does end quick. I don't know why.
So what I typically do is, because these are so short, what I do is I let them like kind of like pile up, and I just watch them. I like binge watch them like all together. So it's like a mental thing that I play for myself, to where I'm like, okay, it's not that, you know, the cut isn't so bad when you do it that way. That's what I typically do, because it's so short. Like, really?
Oh my.
Like, I'm like, for Power, like when if you watching Power lasts for the ages, man.
You know what? I stopped watching because I didn't even watch the last season after Ghost died, because I was like, what is the point? I guess like he's dead, so everything's gonna fall apart. So
I know, and now 50 Cent out here making these reckless ass comments. So it's like, do we really want to support
exactly
50? Like, he out here doing
the
we
most. Had an episode on that too.
He out here doing the most, and I'm like, damn, 50, you gonna make me have to? You want Lil Wayne gonna make me have to boycott Power?
Exactly.
And, you know, I love Power.
I couldn't, and then they're coming out with another Power. We're gonna so off topic, but they are coming out with another one.
We are giving you homegirl vibes. We're giving you homegirl vibes. We get so distracted.
You know what? That's the first show. That's the first real show that I've watched in a long time. Power. Like, because I've been doing a lot of schooling over the past year, and so I really haven't gotten much of a chance to watch anything. But I am like an anime person. When I do get in free time, I'm like, okay, I want to watch some anime. Or Power. I did watch Power, and it took me forever. I didn't get to see the last season because it wasn't on YouTube. Well,
it is very good, and they supposedly have like, what is it, like maybe like 5? I think was it 5 spinoffs? I think they got a bunch of spinoffs supposedly off of the ending. So they really are trying to milk this Power cow until it's dropped for the most part.
So since they watchers, they're like, well, let's keep it going. They wanted to end in the first place, so let's keep it going.
Yes, it'll be interesting, and that's right. Not everybody is like woke, so you know, I think to see what we're actually going to boycott, because I think we're starting to really kind of see, as far as there's like we hold power. There's value in our dollar. So this is like the first time that I feel like we're able to see that. We as Black people are able to see that. We didn't really see that before, but there's something that I feel like is kind of shifting in the world to where we kind of see like, okay, y'all, like we might make a difference. Right. So this is gonna be interesting to see how this kind of shifts. Because it is really good, but his comments were really like kind of really out of line. I'm not really sure if he came back and he explained or if he issued an apology, but it's kind of like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, in the words of Malcolm X, the most unprotected person in the world is the Black woman. So I just kind of feel like, you know, we have to do what we have to do.
Yeah. I agree. And we just cannot, but we all have to be on the same page. And I think that that's where a lot of people, like, especially like Black people, they don't like to stay on the same page. Like, oh, I'm not doing what everybody else is doing just because I said. Like, no, you're not understanding the principle, or you're just wanting to rebel just because everybody else is doing it.
Right.
And I feel like it has to be on the same page, because if everybody collectively did the same thing, then we can make a difference.
I agree. I feel like sometimes we're just like, it's so crazy. It's kind of like a double-headed sword. We are the ones that set the trend, yet we're sometimes so trendy, we're scared to go off the trend. But yes, but at the end of the day, we set the tone. We are what add the flavor to America. But yeah, we're scared sometimes to kind of shift and to try to do something different. So it's interesting.
I saw a quote. I don't know who it's by, but it said, "The world doesn't move without Black creativity," and there's so much that's tied. There's so much of our culture that's tied into every single aspect of language. We were talking about language the other day. Me and my grandmother were talking about language the other day, and how, you know, people shoot other people down for talking a certain way, but it's like, you still use y'all. That didn't come from white people. I know that didn't come from, like, those like, that did not come from y'all. So all these little what is it? Colloquialisms? I don't want to say that right. Yeah. All that is always incorporated into mainstream. So then when you have all these commercials that use our culture, but we're not getting paid for it. It's just the people that use it. And it's so unfair, but like I said, the world doesn't move without Black people. We start everything.
We do. And it's just like, once we've that's what's so crazy. Like, once we actually have started a trend, then it's kind of like we act like we didn't start it. That's why I'm like, we're in control. We're in control of this. So this is very, very interesting. So I do have a question in regards to I guess back to the friendship topic.
So we keep escaping.
He's like, get back on track. But no, how do you set boundaries for your friendship? And are boundaries necessary?
I think they're necessary for certain relationships, well, like friendships, because I think that, like, some people kind of know where to draw the line, or they just know not to step over a certain line. But I think it depends on the person that you're dealing with, if that makes sense. Like, trying to think of a good example.
I think that I'm not to cut you off, but like, I think that I lost my train of thought. Just like, never mind. Let me shut up. Like, it talked for like 5 minutes.
Like, I have an example, but it's not really about friendship. It's more about relationship, but it's boundaries. It's still boundaries. I'm just trying to think of how to incorporate it. I mean, I still feel the same way, but I'm just trying to think of like a good example.
So I kind of have some examples of kind of like boundaries. I think that a boundary can be as far as for like in any type of relationship, whether it be a friend, whether it be a spouse. It's like these invisible lines that you agree to never cross. So that could be not being, like verbally abusive. That can be being gently honest versus being bluntly honest. If you know that the person that you're dealing with is ultra sensitive, it could be not gossiping behind your friend's back. So that means that if you and I have an argument, you're not going to go to somebody else, and say something else about what we talked about. It could be no backstabbing or trying to make yourself look a certain way to kind of always make it look like you're the winner, so to speak. So
Yeah.
I think that's very vital. And of course, like just make sure it's no emotional or physical abuse. I think those are nice boundaries. And if ever, how sometimes when you get into a heated argument with someone and somebody tries to do like low blows, or they try to bring up something from like in
That
the
ain't got
past.
nothing to
So
do with
those are the things,
anything.
right? Those are like,
Oh,
you cross the boundary, and when you cross the boundary, you get into kind of like an unsafe territory.
I agree. Yeah. No, I 100%. It's like almost like ground rules in a sense. Like, okay, these are the things you just don't do. But I still believe that it depends on the person, because some people will just naturally be like, okay, well, I know this person. I know it's a trigger for me to talk about her mom.
Right.
So let me not talk. Even if it's in a joking way, let me just not do that, because I know that's crossing the line. We can joke about everything else in the sun, but don't tell me my mom nothing. Or even like friendships versus relationships. Okay, like oh well, I think that you spend too much time with your husband, not enough time with me. Okay, well, first of all, that's my husband. Second of all, I got a whole family over here I'm trying to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're like interfering with my personal life. Not saying that you're not important, but it's not a comparison. And at the end of the day, my kids are always going to come first, or whatever.
That's what I wanted to touch on. Just the jealousy aspect. I know we like touched on it earlier, but like that to me, it never like as far as like me and Melly's relationship, that to me didn't really make any sense because of like my viewpoint. So if like one of my friends is friends with like other people, I don't worry about stuff like that as long as that person is not trying to hurt you or any way, or trying to just like some people are shitty, but like I'll leave that up to you to decide whether or not you want to mess around with them, because just like boundaries, you have to establish them for yourself. Like I can't tell you like how to feel or why this is how, like say if like somebody does something to you and you're not offended but I am, I can't tell you how to feel about it, but I know how I feel, and I know like I wouldn't want that to happen to me. But like it's ultimately up to you to be like, okay, I don't like this, but I can be like, oh, she just did this, and then you're like, okay, so like that's like too much.
Agree.
Like she just raised her arm. Okay, like what do you want me to do about it? So, but I never understood it because like I'm not a jealous person as far as like you could be friends with what you want as long as they're not hurting you. But at the same time, like I said, me and Melly had a conversation about that, and she explained to me what was going on in her head as far as like I'll tell you what happened as far as why we fell out, because like I made a post and it was with another friend, and she's like, oh, that's your, like I called her sis, and I don't address Melly like that, but I address my other friend like that. So but I don't know if that was the reason, but anyway, like we just stopped talking after that, and that's why I was just like, why are you not talking to me? But like after that, like we talked about it, and I saw her point of view, which I didn't, like I said, I didn't understand before she explained to me. But you know, like as far as boundaries, it is up to you to express how you feel. And even with me, like it's hard for me to express how I feel sometimes to other people, because I'm like I self-doubt a lot. Like I'm like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm tripping, maybe, you know, stuff like that. But then I'm like, okay, but I still had to validate my feelings, because when you, this is just me, and I don't know if y'all feel like this, but whenever something happens and I don't say anything, I feel like a part of me is like breaking, because it's like you're going against yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. Like, I can't like sleep. Like I'm very bad about wearing my emotion on my sleeve. I'm one of those people that I can't fake it because you can see it on my face. And so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think I consider it a good thing, because for me, I feel like you always kind of know where you stand with me, because I can't act like something didn't bother me when it bothered me.
Yeah.
It's just who I am. I
Right.
gotta let you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's something I had to get to learn too. Um, I'm still learning it in some aspects, but I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. And that was like the only thing that I really had like kept from her, like did not tell her, because like I don't know, like I said, I just at some point I just shut down and I just stopped talking to everyone, even like my mom. Like she'll call and text me and I'll just like look at the phone,
Mm-hmm.
watch it ring, you know, as long as are you okay,
Mm-hmm.
don't call me back. I just kind of go into a shutdown, like deep depression, and that's where I was. I was at a very bad time in my life. So, but she would have never known that unless I had said something. So that is 100% my fault, especially since it was something new that I was going through. How would she know that all 17 years is not gonna? If that 18th years it started,
Mm-hmm.
because now it just seems like it's indifferent. So I don't know. I mean, I get that, but it annoyed me. You can't have,
No more friends.
Yeah, and it's funny that y'all say that, because once again, just kind of referring back to like this same relationship that obviously you guys can tell this is fresh, but so just kind of like referring back to the same type of relationship, I actually reconnected with one of my friends that I've been also had been friends with for a while. You know how like just life happens. You just kind of lose contact, and so we kind of reconnected. But I explained to her the situation that was happening with my friend, as far as for the one that to where the business venture was not working out, and she was like, she's like, I'm not surprised. She was just kind of like, well, I just never thought that she was a good friend to you, and I'm like, well, why you didn't say nothing? Like, this is news to me. Like, I had no idea that other people could possibly see this. And this goes back to, once again, this is what I'm referring to, like, your mom, your auntie, whoever sitting there saying that girl is not your friend. Well, this particular situation, I was like, I didn't know. But she was like, I just didn't want to offend you. So she's like, I just didn't say anything. So I just decided to let you learn for yourself. And so, dang, it took me a long time to learn, but I'm definitely grateful that I learned it, because once we actually, when I separated from that person, oh my gosh, I just felt like a weight was lifted. I just felt so much better. And when you feel that way about a friendship, that's how you know that it probably wasn't a healthy situation to begin with. That's how you know that indeed was probably a toxic situation.
Right.
yeah,
So I felt good after I ended that.
Like a sigh of relief.
and that's
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I do something similar with we won't get into it because it's her personal business, but she just got out of a relationship, and
I was just
after
about
the
to
fact
say that.
she felt like I feel like a weight has been lifted. And me and her had a long conversation like that morning before they broke up.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but if you're feeling this way, this is not
It
right.
was to the point.
You should.
I'm. Oh my god! It was to the point where I would be driving to him and feeling like subconsciously just saying, you need to turn around, you need to like break up with him, you need to like get this person out of your life. Like it kept on ringing in my head every time I like would go over there. I'm like, that is an issue because I shouldn't feel like that if I genuinely want to be here. So it, oh my god. And like Melly said, when I broke up with that person, it was like a, I literally felt my body just relax for the first time because we were together like 6 months. Yeah, it was about around 6 months. So, but I literally like I was at a park and I didn't understand how much stress I had until like I got off the phone with him and like my body was like my shoulders literally dropped down. And I'm like, dang, that's how much stress I've been holding with this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we don't understand how, going from a mental health perspective, like stress like makes you like physically sick. Like you can't
Yes.
sleep, sometimes you can't eat, sometimes it affects your stomach to where it's like, you start to have gastro issues. Obviously it can affect your blood pressure. So just eliminating this, this toxic relationship can, if you have, can pretty much kind of alleviate like all these different health issues that you could
Yeah.
possibly be having. And so I know, like I said, I know for me, like that's whenever I'm stressed out, I tend to kind of like not eat and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah. It
it's
even.
just a release.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels so good when it's over, but it could even lower your immune system, so it could make you more prone to getting like viral, like and stuff like that. It's crazy how much stress can really hurt you. And even go back to what you said about the gastro, like when I was under a lot of stress, like I wasn't really eating. I lost 10 pounds in a week.
Mm-hmm.
I started having stomach issues. I got diagnosed with IBS.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is irritable bowel
Mm-hmm.
syndrome, which makes your stomach like cramp like crazy, and then you pretty much have to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's your nerves. And I was just like, okay, I can't live my life like that. But I mean, but it has to be like a lifestyle change. They tell you like if you want it, like it doesn't really go away. You can take medicine and stuff like that, but it doesn't go away. So the best thing that you can do is try to alleviate as much stress as possible, and so that way you don't have any like flare ups and stuff. So it can definitely work on you and emotionally.
Yeah. It,
So I can learn
but
that by going through. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm glad I know because you never really think about these things when you're going through it, or if you don't know, you don't. Of course, you're not going to equate the two.
Yeah, you're not gonna connect it and trying to say that this is coming from this.
Right.
But yeah, so just making sure that you keep the right people in your life will keep you laughing. When you laugh, it releases all these endorphins, and so
Mm.
it really does. It really does make a difference. Um, in your physical health and your mental health.
right.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then you in turn end up being um a actual, a healthy friend, being a better friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And sometimes it does not matter how long you've been friends with that person. Somebody that you've been a lifelong friend with can be detrimental to your well being. I grew up with a girl next door, and We were a year apart, but we were in the same grade. Because our birthday, the way our birthday fell. But she was like, it was fine when we were like in grade school, but when she got to high school, like I had a car because I was older, so I would drive us in and drive us home. But like she had got her own group of friends and just kind of like, why is this girl talking to me during the day? Kind of vibe. Leave me alone. I'm with my other friends. And that to me, I feel like that can be like a toxic friendship too.
Agreed.
Why do you feel as though like I'm good enough when you need something or want something, but I'm not good enough to hang out with you in public? And we grew up together. We lived literally next door to each other, right across the lawn. And we would even on like school nights, we would be like able to spend the night together because we're right there. But
I feel like situations like those are kind of, it sucks to go through, but like it's a necessary for you to kind of learn like what people you don't want in your life. Like as men, and how many times have like, you know, your friend like Melly has told me over and don't be friends with this person, or like you see what they doing, and then I'm like, oh no, like just brushing off, no, they're a good person, blah 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 blah. But they were just actually like shitty people. But I had to go through that situation because, you know, that's my lesson learned. Like I had to go through like, you know, just being with shitty people just to see like what I don't want in my life. And like since I turned 30, it's been like, okay, what do I want to tolerate and what do I not want to tolerate with?
I agree. I 100% agree. But back to what you were saying about just kind of like that mother type of vibe that you give, like, oh, I have to protect this person, or I can see what they can't see, but it hurts so bad that like I can't make you do anything. And which is fine, but it's just like I'm watching you walk into the fire and I can't do nothing about it. So it hurts me because I'm like, I know she's gonna go through unnecessary stress, but I can't do nothing about it. But let her learn,
Right?
even if it this week, next year, it usually eventually happens somewhere down the line. And I just wish that I can help, but everybody's an individual, even my own kids. I cannot do anything about it because they are their own individuals. Yeah. Speaking of my, they are not in the bed. They must be still downstairs. They probably fell asleep on the couch downstairs. Kids. But that's fine because they're not up here making noise. So it's fine.
Watch they come up like, what are you doing?
What's that? Can I hear? No, go away. They're funny. They're hilarious. But even like my husband, he had these supposedly friends, and they were just not real friends. And I'm trying to tell him that, and he's like not listening, and it's aggravating. But he's a special kind of son. There's this one friend that he, quote unquote friend, that he had that, now mind you, like they worked together. So I knew her because me and him used to work together. And I think when I stopped working there, she had started. So we kind of crossed paths. Yeah. Ooh, excuse me. So he there was like this big thing that had happened at work, and like the police were involved. And if it was my friend, my real friend, that they would come when I needed them to come as soon as possible. They wouldn't be waiting 2-3 days if they knew that I possibly be in trouble for something that I did not do. This bitch didn't show up for like 2-3 days. I don't care if I have to drive an hour or not.
Yeah.
Oh my, I'm gonna help you because you're my real friend. That's not a real friend to me. And she advised him because she felt the need to put cameras in her house that he should do the same.
What?
For what? What are you trying to say?
How
Girl,
you tell
okay.
somebody what they should do in their own damn house?
And we don't have that relationship. We don't have those worries. So why are you telling? It's one thing if he's like, "Oh, well, I feel this way." That's not the case. That's never been the case. So why would you? It's one thing if he's been saying stuff like that, but if that wasn't the case, then why would you even advise him? Go ahead. You're gonna be wasting your money watching me sit on the couch eating Cheetos, watching TV. I don't do anything besides go to work and come home and take care of these kids. So do what you need to do if that's what you feel so you need to do. But it should be on your own accord. It shouldn't be because somebody else advised you to do it based on their shitty experience. Keep you and your shitty experience over there, and then
keep your shit away from me.
With the police thing, get that. You know what? You're not a friend. That is not a friend to me. I'm sorry. Rant over.
How do you all I guess recoup once a boundary has been crossed?
I think it depends on how bad the boundary that was violated is. Because some things can just be like, okay, well, this is what you did is unacceptable. Like, why would you do that? But some other things, let's see, what example can I use? Like, like, okay, so I feel as though, like, something smaller, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good example. I can't think. But yeah, I think it depends on like how big or small the situation is. If it's something that is like that just can be a warning, like, okay, well, you are staying in the house and you didn't wash your dishes when that was part of your contract. Then I mean I could just be like, okay, well, you did this. Can you please do it? Like, it's not a deal. But I feel like, okay, say you're hanging out with somebody that doesn't like me, and you tell
that's
him,
that's where I was gonna go.
Oh, that's
like,
a good
me,
question though. What is how would you
Yeah.
feel about that though? Like if someone is like hanging out with, I guess like if you're mutual friends with someone and I guess they don't like that person that you're hanging out with, like how do you handle that?
like, the mutual friend is
Like let's
okay.
say
So,
I'm trying to get examples.
I have okay. So let's say the girl that did all the foolishness with you, and you're the mutual friend, I guess, because you're in the middle of the two of us. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna go. You can go hang out with this girl. I'm not gonna go. If you force me to go, I can't make no promises what's gonna happen.
I guess like with me being in that situation, I kind of just kept y'all separate.
Yeah,
because it would be like me and her going somewhere, but then it would be like you and me going somewhere. So it wouldn't be like y'all would see each other anyway.
I mean, if I ever seen her, I would still say what I gotta say. But I mean, just because you tried it too many damn times for me not to say nothing at this point. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm too damn old for that. unless I have to. But
I throw
that's
hands.
not. I throw hands only if I have to. I'm not a fighter. I am not a fighter. I feel like I'm too old to be out here doing stuff like that. However, if I feel as though I need to, we can get it popping. That's all I'm saying. But like I'm not gonna for the most part you have always kept us separate. But I would disclose that to you, like, okay, well, if you really want me to go and she gonna be there, I cannot guarantee she does some foolishness that I'm not gonna react. Right. Period. I probably won't speak because I'm not a phony person. I'm not gonna be phony. I already don't like you. I'm damn sure not gonna be phony with you. So I'll try to be to myself or talk to whoever else is there or keep myself preoccupied. Do some foolishness. I have no control over what happens next, especially if I've been drinking.
Because I started to question loyalty when you start hanging with somebody. I don't know. I just feel, and to me, I don't know if I would. I don't think I know how to separate. Like, if it's somebody that I really don't deal with, and the emotion behind it, I don't know. I just start questioning things at that point because I feel like you should know.
But then I guess it all depends because like I can see where if I was friends with you and then you don't like this girl, you have a problem with this girl, and then I go over there and be friends with her, that to me is like some other shit because it's like why did you even go over there and be friends with her like that, know? But like it's hard because it's like say if y'all both were already friends and then something happened to where like say if you were all out and then something happened where y'all just don't like each other. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm caught in between because I just want y'all to not fight.
Okay, so somebody that has been really working with me really hard is there is Dominique, and she owns Sunkissed Naturals LLC, and it's an organic skincare line. And I have actually purchased quite a few different products from them. Right now I'm using it's the melanin, it's a face wash is what they pretty much call it. I also have the Caribbean body scrub. That's really awesome. She has a lemon lip scrub. She also has a rose hip facial oil. She has beard balms. She has a lot of good stuff, but these are actually ordered the beard balm from my husband. So we've all been kind of like playing in a lot of her stuff. And I'm very happy with everything that I've purchased. She is local to Georgia, so she is actually located in Winterville, Georgia, but she ships everywhere, and she custom makes everything by hand. So once you place an order, then she starts to prepare that order by hand. So Sunkissed Naturals, and she is Sunkissed Naturals on IG as well.
Yay! I gotta look her up. Did you have the other one too?
Yes, and so the other one, let's see here. I have Candy. She has some mixed drinks, and I don't know what the specifics are as far as shipping alcohol. but
as long as it gets to my mailbox, that's all that matters.
I'll send you over my ID.
It is called Get Mixed by Candy, and she has frozen flavors, and she also has, so you can get the adult Capri Sun either frozen or you can get it without unfrozen, I guess. She has like a plethora of flavors, which include like blue raspberry, strawberry lemonade, frozen rosé, watermelon, jungle juice. She even has something called hoe juice. I don't know what that's about though. She got hoe juice, summertime wine, and honey bourbon. She sells them for 1 for 10, or she also sells half a gallons or gallons, 1 for 30 or 2 for 50. And I believe that Get Mixed by Candy is also her name on IG as well. But very very sweet girl, very good products.
I'm gonna have to inquire
I'm
about
gonna,
that hoe juice.
I know. I was like, we need to find out what's in this right
What's that
here.
about?
Like, that's the title right there.
that sounds like something I would like to indulge in.
Right.
The whole
The
juice.
hoe juice.
So you can be thought bopping everywhere.
Right.
My
Um.
husband ain't having that shit. Before we head out, I want Natisha to give all your business handles.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
To find your podcast and listen and everything. So you can say whatever you need to say, whatever you want to say, all your sites that you're on, everything. Okay.
All right. So I can be found. I'm most active on my Facebook page. To me, I'm more successful as far as for having my listeners engage. So I am the Controversial Black Girl Podcast on Facebook. I am on IG. My handle on IG is the underscore controversial underscore Black Girl underscore podcast on IG as well. If listeners want to email me for future topics, you can email me at Natisha, which is NATESHA, um, JACKSON05 And that is also a way that I correspond back and forth with my listeners. So we have lots of good content. I have enjoyed being on the show with you all tonight. So definitely cheers to future projects.
Word.
Yes. I got a couple topics I want to collab again.
Awesome. Awesome. I look forward to it for sure.
This one was fun and a lot of
I know.
ranting, but it was.
I can't wait though. I can't wait.
I know. Okay,
Thank you
guys,
for having me.
so
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
anytime. So that's all we have for you guys today on the Babbling with Besties
Word.
podcast. So we will see you in next week.